Hello, this is Group 7. The Healthy Campus 2020 objective that we chose to do our project on is to increase the proportion of students who report receiving information on physical activity from their institution. The group consisted of Jasenia, Priyanka, Nicholas, myself, and Jolie. The purpose of this project was to choose a facilitator and a barrier for each of the levels of the ecological model. The first level that we will be discussing is the individual level. This image here is an image that is categorized as a facilitator for this level. It has captioned a time and a place for women to exercise. As mentioned before, the picture prior was an example of a facilitator, and more specifically, it was looking at the gender aspect of the individual level. This picture was taken at the USF Campus Recreation Center. It is a picture that is inviting just women to exercise. Most women tend to get intimidated exercising in front of men, and sometimes use this as an excuse to not exercising, thus not receiving information on a healthy lifestyle. If more women can get to exercising, then the probability of them receiving information on living an active and healthy lifestyle will be increased. This next image was categorized under as a barrier for the individual level. The picture is captioned, "Too busy to stop and engage." As mentioned, the picture is an example of a barrier, and it looks more specifically at the behavior aspect of the level. This picture was taken at a busy area near the library at the USF Tampa campus. This picture is a representation of a student's behavior while on campus. Most of the time, students that are going from Class A to Class B are focused and do not want to be distracted. Receiving information about physical activity in this area, since it is a common intersection for students, is not beneficial, since more than likely the information given will be thrown away. Students' behavior in this area is a barrier for themselves to receive information on physical activity because of the overload of information they are receiving from their classes throughout the day. The next level that we will be discussing is the interpersonal level of the ecological model. This image here is a group of people exercising. It is categorized as a facilitator for the level. It is captioned, "Motivating Friends to Stay Fit with Zumba." As mentioned, the image represents an interpersonal facilitator because working out with friends in a group setting encourages many to not only attend, but to also try their absolute hardest. Group classes also create a weekly workout schedule that students are more likely to maintain. Many students hear about such classes through other friends and get excited about the opportunity to work out in a group. Although information about group classes can be found online, it is friends and peers that not only inform, but also encourage other students to participate. Working out with friends and family can encourage one to continue consistent exercise. Being in a group setting also motivates one to continue with the class with high energy and enthusiasm until the very end. This next image is a barrier for the interpersonal level. It is captioned, "Friends as Barriers of a Healthy Lifestyle." As mentioned, this image represents an interpersonal barrier of healthy eating and exercise. Friends can have a large impact on our lifestyle and our perception of the norm. For an individual with friends that do not work out regularly and eat fast food for most meals, this lifestyle may not seem as a large health concern. An individual is more likely to participate in unhealthy eating and low physical activity if their friends or family share the same lifestyle. Friends that do not participate in regular exercise would also be unable to provide information on exercise opportunities within the university. Regardless of the norm created by one's friends and family, it is important for students to be educated on maintaining an active lifestyle and to encourage their friends, family, and peers to exercise regularly as well. The next level that we will be discussing is the organizational and institutional level. This picture here is of a facilitator for this level. It is captioned, "Facilitating an open space for students to engage in physical activities." This picture was taken at the USF campus, and it promotes and facilitates an open area for students to exercise and perform any physical activities. The Recreation Center has free access to any student and includes a basketball and racquetball court, treadmills, bicycles, open spaces for yoga or instructional exercise, and a weights area within many others. It is a great way to promote physical activity to students and provide a safe and a big area for exercising. Students can go to the Recreation Center before or after their classes and are not only able to maintain a good health, but also to relieve any stress. The majority of time, students do not engage in physical activity if they have to do it by themselves. But having a recreation center, this allows groups to support each other and perform activities together. This next picture in the organizational and institutional level is of a barrier for that level. It is captioned, "No physical activity promoters permitted." This sign was taken at the USF campus and promotes any form of transportation method, which also promotes physical activity like bicycles, skateboards, and roller skates. Students have a busy schedule, and sometimes the minimal physical activity they perform is through their bicycles or skateboards. By not allowing a student to engage in these kinds of physical activities, they are limited to any physical activity at all if they do not have free time to exercise at the recreation center. This sign is not educating a student on physical activity whatsoever or letting them engage. The next level that we will be discussing is the community level. This picture here is categorized as a facilitator for this level. It is captioned, "Taking advantage of the Shareable Bikes program on campus." Many universities and educational institutions alike have implemented variable ways to promote physical activity on their campuses. USF's Shareable program provides easy access transportation for students needing to travel across campus. This program promotes emission-free travel and a healthy physical activity. It relates to the community level of the socio-ecological model in that parking this noticeable green bicycle in front of popular student areas like the library can bring awareness in the community level of the existence of this bike sharing program. Students could be more inclined to get information about this program and potentially other physical activity programs on campus if they see a noticeable green bike everywhere on campus. This picture here is categorized as a barrier for the community level. It is captioned, "The Studious Culture of USF Students at the Marshall Center." While USF promotes physical activity with many programs and activities, it also promotes and provides many comfortable social areas for students to gather and study. Many of these social areas with multi-purpose environments like the Marshall Center are often used by students looking for a place to gather, eat, study, or to do their homework, or to complete their projects. This image represents a barrier because of the physical environment of the Marshall Center is clustered with too many comfortable services that could deter students from hurrying up to complete their assignments to give them the time of day to seek physical activity. Students are often too busy completing their required coursework and with their involvement in many student organizations. The next level that we will be discussing is the societal political level. This image here is categorized as a facilitator and is captioned, "Promoting exercise with free visits to the gym." Receiving free visits to an alternative gym that may be close to where you live is essential to ensuring a healthy lifestyle. Sometimes students do not always live on campus, and access to a place to work out can sometimes be more work than it needs to be. With programs like this, individuals have many options to their various locations to become more active. Programs like these involve the cooperation various companies to agree in partnership to help the community as a whole. This picture is categorized as a barrier for the societal and political level. It is captioned, "The cost of staying healthy strikes again." Injuries happen. This shouldn't be a barrier when it comes to keeping you active, but the harsh reality is money can sometimes get in the way of getting you back to becoming yourself again. Unfortunately, with the healthcare system that we are in, programs through local, state, and federal guidelines require upfront payments just so you can be treated or to receive the proper education on exercise to reduce your risk of injury. Through policies like these, you can see how receiving the information you need can be deterred simply because you cannot afford to be seen by a medical professional. In conclusion, there are facilitators and barriers in each level that affect the objective, which was to increase the proportion of students who report receiving information on physical activity from their institution. We believe that if an individual were to view our presentation, that they would understand how each level can be separate in its own sense, but yet that they are intertwined with one another. After understanding the different levels and how everyday interactions can either push you or deteriorate you from being healthier, we believe that the individual will become more aware of the facilitators or barriers and therefore make better exercise choices. Overall, working as a group went very well. Our group communicated and accomplished the task needed for each portion of the project. When selecting facilitators and barriers images for each level, we had a productive open format for choosing which picture would fit best for each level. There were no real disagreements and there were good justifications for each picture.